Out of the rumor mills today, we learn that Hera Syndulla may be returning from Rebels to reprise her role in Rangers of the New Republic, the Jon Favreau show that was set to go off, I think, next year. I wonder how that show could have been even better. I mean, maybe they could have gotten her a sidekick or some other really strong female character to partner up with. Like, I don't know, Cara fucking Dune?
Renegade Online.
Oh, God. This is giving me a headache. This is giving me a headache watching this kind of stuff because you want to love the news so much, but at the same time, you just want to hate it. Oh, all right, let's get into this. So here we go. You know, the rumor mill has been going off like crazy the last 24 hours with these leaks, supposed leaks, let's call them that for now, that Hera from Star Wars Rebels, one of my favorite characters out of the Filoniverse for sure, is coming back and will be a character in Rangers of the New Republic. I think this makes total sense. I think it fits with all logic that we could surmise at this point, because it fits with her character. She would still be around and alive at this point, clearly. And I think, honestly, and this is the big kicker, I think Hera was going to be part of that show anyway. I mean, why wouldn't she be? It makes total sense. Just as much as we were discussing where's Sabine Wren when it came to Mando. It's like, oh, Bo-Katan's here. Ahsoka's here. Surely Sabine is going to show up because Sabine went off with Ahsoka at the end of Rebels to go hunt down Ezra Bridger and Thrawn. Well, we haven't seen Sabine yet. So then the idea is that, well, maybe surely we'll see Sabine probably show up in the Ahsoka Tano show, which I still think will happen. But of course, Hera was always out there. I mean, who wouldn't want to see Hera Syndulla and the Ghost come back into Star Wars, and we get a live-action version of Hera in the same way that we got a live-action version of Ahsoka, a live-action version of the Ghost, just like we got Bo-Katan's ship. A quick clip of it as it panned across the desert, the parking lot outside the bar when Mando went to find her in one of the Mando Season 2 episodes. So, yeah, it all fits. I think the original intention was to have Hera Syndulla and Cara Dune there. Why? Well, as any good movie setup goes, and we all know Jon Favreau knows what the hell he's doing, okay? He built the architecture for the Marvel Cinematic Universe that Kevin Feige then masterfully implemented over the last 12 years. Favreau was obviously trying to do the same thing with Star Wars. That was the edict that was handed down to them from the Bobs, right? Was to recreate the success of the MCU, the same framework, but in the Star Wars Lucasfilm brand. So that was all the build. So how do you do that? If you're going to bring in characters from the animated shows, then they need to be introduced in live action with characters that we're already familiar with. So we were introduced, we got Mandalorian, right? We got Mando in there, we got Din Djarin, we got Grogu. We had these new characters, but we want to bring in animated characters. I think if they had jumped right into the Ahsoka Tano show or right into another show starring Bo-Katan, I don't know if it would have had the same effect, right? Because they got everybody into watching Mando, we all got to love Mando, and then introducing those animated characters into live action in their own episodes became very easy. Now that we know who they are and we see them in live action, not that we didn't know, Star Wars fans who love Clone Wars and Rebels obviously know who these characters are, but there's a lot of folks out there who simply don't know them. The more casual Star Wars fans, but they want to get to know them because they're great characters. So again, this was one of those things to where we have been introduced to Gina Carano as Cara Dune in 2 seasons of Mando, and she's a very popular character who sells a lot of toys. So we give her her own show before she gets swiped up by Kevin Feige to the Marvel Cinematic Universe or DC or somebody else. It was going to happen. So what do? We give Gina Carano her own show, Rangers of the High Republic, that she's perfectly suited for, her character's perfectly suited for. And what do we do in Rangers? We bring in Hera. Why? Because her character fits flawlessly into that show. And that's how you introduce yet another popular animated character from the Dave Filoni universe, the Dave Filoni Star Wars universe, into live action. So what about this leak? Why are we getting this now? Well, it should be obvious, right? As soon as the news drops about Gina Carano's treatment by Kathleen Kennedy, everybody's asking, well, the Rangers of the High Republic is dead, right? Well, what do we have to do to save it? What do we have to do to try to get things back on track? Another leak from the Favreau faction, which they probably had no choice but to do, is to let some information slip out that, we might have a real popular Rebels character show up here. And here we go. Now the headline is the other female character that I think we were going to be introduced to regardless, Hera Syndulla. So look, I'm excited about it. It's great. But I'm obviously still mixed feelings on this because will I even still be around? Will I still be watching Star Wars shows at that point? Now, this is a show that's probably not slated to come out until at least 2022, I would imagine. And of course, a lot can happen between now and then. And as I keep saying, Disney is not going to pull the trigger and just fire Kathleen Kennedy tomorrow, okay? I'd be very, very surprised by that. Why? Because she has a contract that runs 3 years. She was renewed in October of 2018. It's going to go through to October of 2021 this year. When you fire somebody in that kind of position, in that high-level position that makes the kind of money that Kathleen Kennedy does, just from a standard business perspective, all of those contracts have very harsh penalties for early release. Typically speaking, I'd be very surprised if hers didn't. So if Disney is caught between a rock and a hard place, where it's either fire Kathy Kennedy now, and it might cost us an extra $50 million or $100 million or $10 million in penalties for breaking the contract early, they're going to wait for the extra 6 months or 7 months at this point to go ahead and let that contract just run itself out. And if you haven't noticed by now, apart from the stuff that is already in production at this point, there's nothing else going on. They have not started principal photography yet for Rangers of the New Republic. Obviously now we know why at this point. They have not started principal photography so far as we know for the Ahsoka Tano show. We know that they have Boba Fett either largely in the can or all in the can at this point. They are currently working on Obi-Wan, a Deborah Chow directed show, which Deborah Chow is a student of Favreau Star Wars. When she was brought in, along with all the other directors like Peyton Reed and Bryce Dallas Howard, if you go back and watch The Gallery, Season 1, all of the 8 or so episodes of the behind the scenes of the making of The Mandalorian, one of the conversations that was had in there was Jon Favreau discussing how he was, and I'm paraphrasing, running a Star Wars training school for directors, teaching them this is how you make Star Wars properties. This is how you make Star Wars shows and movies and whatnot. You have to follow these rules. You can do these things. You can't do these things. And if, after that, whatever your own personal spin as an artist, as a director, you can put on it, but you have to work within this framework. That's exactly what Star Wars and Lucasfilm needs. That wasn't a Kennedy idea. That was a Favreau idea. Why? Because people like Favreau and Filoni actually give a shit about Star Wars. And that's more of what we need. So I'm looking forward to Deborah Chow's Obi-Wan Kenobi, although, again, it is a bit soured at this point. But as my Disney Plus subscription, regardless of my cancellation a few weeks ago, it doesn't run out until November of this year because I pay annually. So I'm off the books administratively as being a subscriber, but financially I'm still on the books. So be it. So we'll see what happens later this year. Hopefully Obi-Wan will be a successful show in terms of storytelling. I can understand if people want to protest it and boycott it and not watch it. Guys, I get it. I freaking get it. I totally get it. But now that I'm running a YouTube channel, I almost feel obligated. I, at least want to report on it to you guys while I still can. So anyway, leave some thoughts below. Give me some comments. Give me your feedback. I want to hear from you guys. I want you to tell me what you think about this news. If Hera is going to get you back into watching Rangers or if it's just screw it. I get it if it's just screw it. Believe me, I do. But I want to hear your thoughts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share this all out on Twitter and Facebook and whatever other crap you use for social media. It's all crap anyway, but we appreciate your shares. And stay tuned. We'll have some more stuff coming up this weekend. Take care.